The Hinterkaifeck murders of 1922 in a secluded farm north of Munich, Germany, stand as one of the most perplexing and darkly fascinating unsolved crimes in history. The Gruber family, comprising Andreas, his wife Cecilia, their daughter Victoria, and her children Cecilia and Josef, along with their maid Maria Baumgartner, were the unsuspecting victims of this heinous act. The foreboding signs. In the days leading up to the murders, Andreas Gruber shared with neighbors unsettling observations. Footprints in the snow leading from the forest to their farm, but none returning. Unfamiliar noises in the attic. A newspaper not from their household. And keys going missing. Despite these ominous signs, no one could foresee the tragedy that was about to unfold. Discovery of the carnage. On a fateful day in late March, the Hinterkaifeck farm was shrouded in deathly silence. Neighbors, sensing something amiss, discovered the macabre scene. In the barn, stacked upon each other, were the savagely beaten bodies of Andreas, Cecilia, Victoria, and young Cecilia. Their injuries were horrific, inflicted with a mattock, suggesting a rage-filled but methodical execution. Moving to the house, the search party found the youngest family member, Josef, and the new maid, Maria Baumgartner, also murdered. Josef was in his crib, and Maria was in her room, both victims of the same ruthless brutality that had claimed the others. The crime scene's chilling nuances. The elder Cecilia showed signs of a desperate struggle, with clumps of her own hair in her clenched fists. This detail hinted at a prolonged and agonizing death. The meticulous positioning of the bodies, the continued care of the farm animals, and the apparent usage of the family's provisions by the perpetrator after the murders added layers of chilling calculation to the crime. Investigative challenges. The investigation, hindered by the delay in discovering the bodies and the limitations of forensic science of the era, faced significant challenges. The isolated location further complicated matters, as did the lack of direct witnesses. Despite numerous suspects and extensive police work, the case grew cold, leaving more questions than answers. The unanswered questions. Was the motive personal, an act of vengeance perhaps? Was it the work of a wandering madman? The questions swirled but found no resting place. The case files bulged with testimonies and theories, yet the shadow of uncertainty never lifted. Legacy of an unsolved mystery. Today, the Hinterkaifeck murders are a morbid curiosity, a case study in the annals of true crime. The unsolved nature of the case, the isolated rural setting, and the gruesome details continue to fascinate and horrify. Hinterkaifeck, once a quiet and unremarkable farm, now echoes through history as a place of unspeakable terror and mystery, a reminder of the darkness that can dwell in the human heart and the elusive nature of truth. In the spring of 1981, the serene landscape of Keddie, a small town in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, was rocked by a brutal and perplexing crime. The Keddie cabin murders, as they became known, involved the gruesome deaths of 4 individuals at a remote cabin, with the case remaining unsolved to this day. The grisly discovery. On the morning of April 12, 1981, the bodies of Sue Sharp, her son John, and his friend Dana Wingate were found in Cabin 28 at the Keddie Resort. The scene was one of extreme violence. The victims had been bound, beaten, and stabbed. The use of multiple weapons, including a hammer, knife, and a pellet gun, indicated a frenzied attack. A missing daughter. Adding to the horror, Sue's daughter, Tina Sharp, was missing from the scene. Her skeletal remains were found 3 years later in a remote area about 50 miles from Keddie. Survivors of the night. Remarkably, 3 younger children, including 2 of Sue's other children, were found unharmed in an adjacent bedroom. They apparently slept through the night, unaware of the carnage in the living room. Investigation and challenges. The investigation faced numerous challenges from the start. Initial police response and evidence collection methods were criticized, potentially compromising crucial evidence. Despite interviewing numerous residents and following various leads, law enforcement was unable to pinpoint the perpetrator or the motive. Theories and speculation. Speculation abounded. Was this a random act of violence by transient individuals, or was it a targeted attack? Some theories pointed to local connections and possible cover-up attempts, while others suggested drug-related motives. Later developments. Years later, new evidence and leads rekindled interest in the case. New DNA testing was conducted, and previously overlooked connections between the victims and local residents were explored. Despite these efforts, the full truth behind the Keddie murders remains elusive. Legacy of the case. The Keddie cabin murders have become a dark part of local lore, symbolizing a loss of innocence for the small mountain community. The case continues to attract attention from true crime enthusiasts and amateur sleuths, all drawn to its unsolved and violent nature. Echoes of the unsolved. Today, the Keddie murders stand as a chilling reminder of the capacity for unexplained violence and the enduring agony of unsolved cases. The tragedy of Cabin 28 is not just in the brutality of the acts, but in the haunting absence of closure for the victims' families and the lingering questions that surround a night of inexplicable horror. In the small town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, Christmas Eve of 1945 unfolded a mystery that would baffle the nation and remain unsolved to this day. The Sodder family, headed by George and Jenny Sodder, was plunged into a night of horror and perplexity when their home was engulfed in flames and 5 of their 10 children seemingly vanished into thin air. An ordinary family, an extraordinary tragedy. The Sodders were an Italian immigrant family well integrated into their community. George, a respected businessman, and Jenny, a devoted mother, had built a life filled with the joy and chaos of their large family. But their peaceful life was shattered on that fateful Christmas Eve. The blaze. The fire broke out in the dead of night, consuming the Sodder home. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children escaped the inferno. However, 5 of the Sodder children, Maurice, Martha, Louise, Jenny, and Betty, were unaccounted for. Despite George's desperate attempts to re-enter the house or climb to the upper floors, intense flames and heat thwarted every effort. Mystery deepens. In the aftermath of the fire, no remains of the missing children were found, an oddity considering the nature of the fire. This detail sparked a series of questions. How could a fire that left the house's structure partially intact completely cremate bodies? Why were the family's own attempts to contact the fire department thwarted by an allegedly inoperative phone line when neighbors successfully called from a nearby tavern? A tangled web of clues and theories. Several peculiar occurrences added to the enigma. A ladder usually resting against the house was found thrown down a nearby embankment. A strange man seen stealing a block and tackle from the property. A witness claiming to have seen the children peering from a passing car during the fire. And a mysterious photograph received years later purportedly showing one of the missing children as an adult. The investigation and its shortcomings. The official investigation declared the fire an accident caused by faulty wiring. However, the Soter family vehemently disagreed, believing that their children had been kidnapped and the fire deliberately set as a cover-up. Their efforts to investigate further, including hiring private detectives, only led to more questions and dead ends. Enduring legacy. The mystery of the Soter children became a local legend, a story of loss, intrigue, and unyielding parental love. The Soter family maintained a billboard along the highway for years seeking information about their missing children. Echoes of the unsolved. Today, the story of the Soter children's disappearance remains a haunting tale of unresolved loss and mystery. It stands as a testament to the complexities of truth and the enduring agony of unanswered questions, resonating through the decades as a poignant reminder of a family's undying hope and the heart-wrenching mystery of their lost children. In the winter of 1959, a mysterious and tragic event occurred in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, which would later be known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. The unexplained deaths of 9 experienced hikers in the northern Ural Mountains have sparked decades of investigation, speculation, and conspiracy theories. The ill-fated expedition, led by Igor Dyatlov, the group of 9 Soviet hikers, all students or graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, embarked on a skiing expedition to Otorten Mountain. The team was well equipped and experienced in long ski tours and mountain expeditions. The mysterious circumstances. The group's diary and camera found at their last campsite provided some insight into their journey. However, it was the discovery of their bodies, which began weeks later, that deepened the mystery. The hikers' tent was found torn open from the inside, and their bodies were scattered in the snow, some wearing only socks or underwear despite the freezing temperatures. The unexplained injuries. Post-mortem examinations revealed that 6 of the hikers died of hypothermia, while the remaining 3 showed signs of physical trauma. One had a fractured skull, another had brain damage without any sign of distress to the skull, and another had chest fractures comparable to the force of a car crash. Strangely, there were no external wounds associated with these injuries. Adding to the enigma, one of the hikers was found missing her tongue and eyes. Theories and speculations. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed to explain the hikers' deaths, ranging from an avalanche, infrasound-induced panic, military involvement, a hostile encounter with indigenous Mansi tribespeople, to more outlandish explanations involving paranormal activity or extraterrestrial encounters. Government investigation and conclusion. The Soviet investigation concluded that a compelling natural force had caused the deaths, a vague explanation that only fueled further speculation. The case was quickly closed and files were archived in secrecy, leading to suspicions of a cover-up. The enduring mystery. Despite various investigations, including a recent reopening of the case in 2019 by Russian authorities, the exact cause of the hikers' deaths remains unclear. The Dyatlov Pass incident continues to be a topic of fascination, drawing in amateur sleuths, scientists, and conspiracy theorists alike. Legacy of the tragedy. The Dyatlov Pass incident is more than an unresolved mystery. It's a tragic tale of adventure, unforeseen danger, and the relentless quest for answers. It encapsulates the human desire to explore the unknown and the profound quest to understand the unexplainable. The haunting legacy of the incident continues to echo through the Ural Mountains, a somber reminder of the 9 lives lost under mysterious circumstances. In the cold winter of 1970, a haunting mystery unfolded in the Isdalen Valley near Bergen, Norway, known locally as Death Valley. The discovery of an unidentified woman's body in this remote area sparked a complex investigation that remains unsolved to this day, known as the case of the Isdal woman. A grisly discovery. On November 29, 1970, a family hiking in Isdalen stumbled upon a horrific scene. Partially hidden among rocks was the charred body of a woman. The scene was bizarre. Around her were found sleeping pills, bottles of petrol, a packed lunch, and an empty liquor bottle. Her jewelry was placed beside her, and her fingerprints had been sanded away. The enigmatic identity. The woman's identity was a riddle. Autopsy reports indicated she had consumed sleeping pills before dying from carbon monoxide poisoning and severe burns. Dental records revealed distinctive gold-filling work, pointing to a possible South American origin. A trail of aliases. Investigation led to the discovery of the woman's suitcases at a Bergen railway station. Inside, the police found a perplexing array of wigs, glasses, currency from different countries, and clothes with all identifying tags removed. Even more puzzling were the coded notes that, when deciphered, appeared to be a travel itinerary. A web of intrigue. Witnesses across Norway reported encounters with a well-dressed, multilingual woman who used various aliases. She often changed rooms in hotels and seemed to be on guard. Her descriptions varied, but one constant was her use of several false identities. Espionage theories. The Cold War-era setting of the mystery led to rampant speculation about espionage, her elusive behavior, the international nature of her belongings, and the era's heightened tension between East and West fueled theories that she was involved in spy activities. The investigation's dead end. Despite extensive investigations by Norwegian police and international cooperation, the Isdal woman's identity and the reason for her death remained elusive. The police eventually closed the case as a probable suicide, but this conclusion was unsatisfactory to many. The enduring enigma. Today, the Isdal woman's story captivates true crime enthusiasts and amateur sleuths alike. Her case is a haunting tapestry of unexplained clues, international mystery, and the chilling thought of a life lived entirely in the shadows. The identity of the Isdal woman and the circumstances of her death continue to be an enigmatic puzzle, a narrative echoing the complexities and mysteries of human existence.